Lots and lots and lots of news today. Get them all right here, right now. Greetings petrolheads and welcome to romrom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and to a regular news roundup. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. When time permits, please consider subscribing. If you have any news for us, send us a mail to news@romrom.net. Man, last week we only had the Euro Truck Simulator 2 news, so we decided to not do a news video and instead published a review. Go check it out, especially if you have kids. And this week, we don't know where to start with our news in between Black Friday deals, updates, blog posts and whatnot. Oh, and SimLab is doing a Black Friday deal, taking 10% off any of their products if you use the coupon code BF2021 between today and the 29th of November. We know, nothing to write home about, but still, don't look a gift cockpit in the mouth, or something. This coming week we'll see an update of KT Racing's sim with updates to the club's mode, new stickers for your car in the livery editor, 5 new historic rally stages, the Acropolis Rally, and a new car they are mum about it until the update comes out. But the buzz is it'll have to do with one or even all of the historic stages. If we're not mistaken, this is the last track that was missing from F1 2021. Jeddah in Saudi Arabia is proof that you can kill and butcher journalists, treat women like inferiors and kill them too, and the oh so woke Formula 1 is still gonna race on your soil because money is the only thing that matters. Pretty sure nobody's gonna take the knee or wear a rainbow colored t-shirt there. Anyway, back to the game. Adding Jeddah to it before the real live race is not the only change. Now you can enable or disable pit lane tire temperature simulation because of the very strange reason that having it on would disadvantage cars that box closer to the pit lane entrance. Okay. There's been 2 corrections to multiplayer, with spectators now seeing the green light at the same time as the racers, and with users kicked from session due to timer running out no longer being banned from the session. Also, the R&D progress history screen has been adapted to the new number of tracks, better support for Fanatec CSLDD pedals, and other assorted bug fixes. Incredible! They've been doing this game since 2012 and they still have bugs. You can read the complete list of changes in the link in our description. This patch came out on the 10th and it brings, as always, a lot of new stuff. The devs have fixed a bug with which disabled damage was not working in AI seasons, as well as an issue loading the grid of a future league session. Also, the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup in the 992 and 991 versions have seen some bugs fixed, while the Pro Mazda has seen its standard setup updated. With regards to tracks, the Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Hungaroring have seen some small corrections, cars at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course load with the right tires, and the Phoenix Raceway, as well as the Nürburgring GP track, some corrections to the graphics with regards to lighting. Well, this is a cute small patch this time. Do you think it's good or bad news? Kunos have announced a new update version 1.8 coming November 24th, that's this Wednesday, to Assetto Corsa Competizione. It will be only for PC versions and will bring the BMW M4 GT3 2022 as free DLC, as Kunos had already announced. Furthermore, with this version will come an update of the Unreal Engine to 4.26, which we suppose needed extensive testing and maybe some tweaks to ensure full compatibility, updates of the physics engine and tire model updates, and improvement of the graphics thanks to the implementation of the NVIDIA DLSS and AMD FSR technologies. These may mean better FPS on your system, including VR use, but in the case case of Nvidia, it will only work if your GPU is RTX, which the 2000s and 3000s are. On the 24th, starting at 1500, they will run a special keynote. If it's a snooze fest like the other one, we'd rather watch the update bar of Steam loading up the Assetto Corsa Competizione update. Oh, and console players are once again getting the shaft. According to unconfirmed information, the BMW won't come to consoles until February of next year. So, this is a funny one. What do you do when you have messed up so thoroughly that it would be easier to design a time machine and correct your errors back then than to repair your utterly broken piece of software? Yes, you bring out a DLC full of liveries. Not even that iconic or special. Hey, and it only costs €12.50 for a bunch of run-of-the-mill liveries. Who can say no to that? We hope a lot of you, truth to be told. This is pitiful and only adds to the disaster. Oh yeah, there's also been an update raising the version number to 1.25, bringing support for a lot of Thrustmaster wheels and adding button functionality to the game, for example for pit menus. And they improved sensitivity to yellow flags. Yeah, because the game cared about yellow flags before. The AI behavior is now better on rolling restarts, although by their own recognition, the team still isn't completely happy about it. And if you pit it during a full course yellow, the AI may have retained control of your car, the car would not be repaired, or the game forced you to pit if the pit menu was open when the yellow flag condition occurred. Well, not all, as it seems they got so many questions they had to divide their blog post in two parts, so let's get to it right away. First of all, rFactor 2 may get some of the development done for Nascar 21 backported into its core. We don't know. Are you really sure this is the right idea? Like, really? And when we read things like, we've spent some time on the AI recently for the NASCAR game, that statement bears the question of why the AI in NASCAR 21 is about the worst we've seen in a sim. Let's move back to rFactor 2. If you are missing the Lamborghini GT3 in the sim, be assured the only reason is the licensing costs. The devs would love to include it, but they cannot afford it. So easy, so banal, so sad, so understandable. If you are expecting them to fix the dashboards of any cars at the moment, they themselves recommend you use third-party software like SimHub, as while they recognize there is a lot of work needed there, this work won't be happening anytime soon. Here, an important note from Studio 397 comes to mind. They had said some of their developers had left the studio and they were searching for new developers. First of all, we wonder which contracts these developers had, as it's a fact in the whole software development world that there are more positions to fill than there are developers, with some big name companies getting hold of the developers while they are still at university and offering them quite healthy contracts right away when they get their diplomas. And this is something that has been an issue for at least the last decade. Not a new problem at all. So you have the issue of developers leaving seemingly quite suddenly and of course not being able to replace them in time because the market's empty. I'd say this is a self-made problem that can normally be followed back to bad management. Just saying, but speaking out of experience here. And we were expecting more developers and a bigger push after Motorsport Games bought up Studio 397. But seeing the catastrophe that NASCAR 21 has become, we're not sure Motorsport Games management involvement is good news. Man, I digress more than a politician trying to avoid a question today. Back to the blog post. An interesting point is that one of the results of the cooperation with tire maker Goodyear will be the inclusion into the sim of tires that Goodyear still has in development, and the quite interesting possibility of rFactor 2 getting a tire database with, for now, information about many Goodyear tires, but it's still early days. Another result of the lack of programmers at the moment is a slowness in updating traction control and ABS to modern versions, especially for GT cars. And they are trying to correct issues with tire pressures being run at minimum, as well as eliminating the unfair and unrealistic advantages drivers may have running absurdly low pressures. An interesting answer to an interesting question gives us the timeframe Studio 397 need to produce a car, which is 6 to 10 weeks from green light to finishing it with all available liveries. That's of course supposing the license is already in place when starting, and Studio 397 has all CAD models, physics data and sound recordings when they start. For a sim that is renowned for its accurate tire physics, it's interesting no punctures have been implemented in it. In answer to our question, we get the information that the code's there for punctures based on overused tires, but it has never been activated, and the promise of looking into the whole world of punctures next year. Moving on, they tease push to pass as something we might see next year. All in all, this first of 2-car Q&A blog post was full of I don't knows, let me asks, and hemming and huffing. The maker or makers of these blog posts are either not accustomed to write or are trying to skip questions by giving non-answers. Quite irritating, truth to be told, and we hope part 2 is better, although we doubt it. If you have the Special Transport DLC, you can rejoice. The developers have worked on adding new routes for you to mess up completely. I mean, to test your elite driving skills. All with different missions. And look at that, driving a special transport in a roundabout? Are you kidding me? I'm sweating just by watching the image. Keeping with Euro Truck Simulator 2, SCS Software are starting a new open beta for the 1.3 update. The actual version they have there now doesn't have all they want to release in the 1.3, so keep checking out the open beta as more and more functionalities will appear as soon as they are ready. What do they have in mind? A reskin of Lyon, France with new vegetation, better road signs and update textures. More about that in the link in our description. Extensive updates of the different toll gates you can find in the game, including speed limits and road signs. 35 new viewpoints, which seem to be an idea that players enjoy, as I'm sure they do cost SCS some time and money. But we know SCS loves their fans as much as the fans love their work. More to come, Iberia will be getting some new roads, like north of Madrid, and a road linking Sines in Portugal, passing near Beja and ending in Sevilla, as well as a stretch of the Spanish A52 that connects Vigo and León. We've already talked about the new special transport routes, but we haven't talked about dumper trailers you can now own and customize to your delight. The interior cabin sound has been tweaked to fit each cabin from each truck based on the different type of insulation the trucks have, a change that will also be done in American Truck Simulator. And last but not least, the fonts are getting a new technology to display them called SDF, which allows them to look right in any resolution, scale or from any distance. See the whole list of changes in the link in our description. Let's start with the better news. If you've been on the fence about Automobilista 2 despite everything we've been telling you, you can go and get something like a demo for it, because as we told a couple of weeks ago, Volkswagen Brazil has released 2 of their cars together with Reza and Acelerados. So now you'll be able to drive the Polo and the Virtus TSI 1.0 on 3 different layouts of Velocità, in what is, for all intents and purposes, a demo of Automobilista 2. Of course, we've put the link to it directly in the description. Go check it out, enjoy the wonderful force feedback, the hassle-free VR, the great physics. And come back here and tell us how great this sim is and how right we were all the time. And for those of us who already have Automobilista 2, the two cars have already been added to the roster of the sim and should be part of the update that's coming possibly next Wednesday. While it was planned for this weekend, Raiza found a big bug in the tire thread simulation and they want to correct it before they release the new version, unlike what others do. Nascar 21! The good news is that addressing this bug will solve a bigger issue Automobilista 2 had with regards to physics, so this bug fix and the differential update may make Automobilista 2's physics the best in all sim racing. We'll see. If you like this video and would like to see more, consider becoming a patron, thus letting us spread our wings. And a big thank you to our first two patrons. Fanatec have made public their deals for the coming 26th. While we failed to see anything spectacular, but truth to be told, Fanatec's deals have never been spectacular, here's what there is. You will be able to get the CSL steering wheel P1 V2 for €20 less. It's a special Black Friday edition, whatever that means, as we could not discern any big difference between this and the normal wheel. Maybe the special thing is the €20 less? Next one's the CSL R300 wheel, and here the price difference is decidedly steeper, as the wheel will be available for a very short time and only until the 30th, 9 AM CET, for €199, €100 less than the normal price. The CSL pedals load cell kit will be reduced too, but only by €20, and they will be opening pre-orders for the CSL pedals tuning kit, which despite the name is just different pedal plates for €40. Also, they tease a special product launch with not many details more. Might be the PS compatible DD CSL. Just a hunch. If you were expecting a big deal from Fanatec's Black Friday sale, you may be disappointed, but on the other hand, it's not like Fanatec normally has especially good deals. They seem to concentrate on delivering the best engineering for a certain price range, and truth to be told, this is more important to us than any big sales. Speaking of engineering, the BMW M4 GT3 rim, which is ugly as sin if you ask me, but I suppose it may be perfect for racing no matter how it looks, will be available to pre-order from December 20th on, for the minimal price of €1,400 USD. Man, Santa's gonna be selling all his kidneys to afford that one. And just yesterday they informed us they are going to release a CSL steering wheel BMW. While you can pre-order it right now, it won't be available until February of next year for a price of €140. As you can see, this is a round wheel 300mm in diameter with an interesting design. It's made of plastic with rubber on the handles, will let you tune the force feedback while driving, and has 12 buttons, a joystick thingy, and of course, shifter metal pedals. According to Fanatec, it will be compatible with all bases, only you have to have reduced the torque in your podium base, so it's not really fully compatible to podium bases. Must be the plastic it's made of cannot resist the full torque of DD. Speaking of compatibility, while it's fully compatible with PC systems, it's not compatible with Xbox consoles and only partially compatible with PlayStation consoles. We, on the other hand, are all compatible with. We just need your extra time and to check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.